Welcome to a special edition of Recipes and Reads Culinary Lab with Volusia County Public Library. I'm Jamie.
My name is Ray, and we are celebrating Volusia Reads together. Our book pick is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. And so today we're going to be making an appetizer, a main dish, and a dessert.
We are going to be making our deviled ham and cheese ball. We are going to be making chicken a la king, and we are also going to be doing cottage cheese fruit salad. Let's begin, shall we?
Sounds good, Jamie. Let's start with the appetizer. And so we're making that deviled ham and cheese ball. So in a medium mixing bowl here, I have placed 2 cans of deviled ham, an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, and 8 ounces of cheddar cheese. To that, I'm going to grate in 2 tablespoons of onions on our box grater, and we can kind of guesstimate at that. And then we're going to add in our 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke. And then we're going to add our herbs and spices. So we have a tablespoon of dried parsley, a 3/4 of a teaspoon of celery salt, and then we also have a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. All of that's going to go in there, and while I stir, what about deviled ham?
Well, deviled is more than just a name. So you may have heard of deviled ham before. We also have deviled eggs and other deviled foods. And the word deviled refers to a red hot dish that is usually highly seasoned with spices or tangy condiments. So in the 1950s, we saw a popularity in party foods, especially if they were easy to make, like a cheese ball. So we have added our red hot deviled ham with the cheese ball to make an easy, fun appetizer for your next get-together.
Now, the one thing I didn't mention, Jamie, was we could put nuts in here if you wanted to. Walnuts, pecans would be very acceptable. And as this comes together, we would form this into a ball using a piece of plastic wrap, or you can do it in a dish. And then my suggestion is to chill this for about 4 to 6 hours, or even better, overnight.
I love a make-ahead party food. Less to do on the day of the event.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what are we doing for our main, Jamie?
We are actually going to skip our main because our dessert, or it is sometimes a side, needs to be chilled as well, just like our cheese ball. So we are going to jump to our cottage cheese fruit salad. So into a medium bowl again, I have emptied 1 box of red flavored Jell-O. So that could be cherry. We're using strawberry, could be raspberry. We want it to end up pink, so you want that red color. We are going to add to that 1 16-ounce container of cottage cheese. And it's going to take a little bit to mix this all together, and it's going to look red at first. The pink will come, I promise.
So as you're mixing that together, did you know that Victorian dinners were very popular with gelatin salads? They would mix in different things like tomatoes, sometimes fish, lemons, and they called them aseptics. But it was in the 1950s that the Midwestern housewife decided to add various colors of gelatin with various fruits and vegetables. I know my family, it was always green Jell-O with pineapple and cabbage in it.
I think I'll stick with my pink stuff, or I know we did have the molded Jell-O with the oranges in it. Mm-hmm. I prefer my Jell-O less jiggly.
Less jiggly, yes.
And in this kind of salad. So we are now going to add a container of Cool Whip, and we are going to give this another stir. And this can come in a variety of colors.
Absolutely. And so how long would this need to chill for once everything's together, Jamie?
We're going to chill it for 3 hours minimum overnight. So again, another make-ahead food to make it easy. This pink stuff, as my family called it, was a summer picnic kind of staple. It's an easy bring with you kind of dish. Now we are going to go ahead and add 1 can of whatever fruit you'd like. My family always used fruit cocktail.
Oh, yes.
We got to have those cherries in there. So we've got peaches, grapes, pineapples, and those cherries. So we're going to mix that all together. And then this is going to go in the refrigerator, and it's going to kind of set up, get a little more solid on you, not Jell-O solid, but more of like a whipped. So that's why it can be a dessert or it can be a side. So we're going to put that
Get that in the fridge for
in
you,
the
Jamie.
fridge.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray. Then we are moving on to our dinner for this edition. So 1950s, we are going to get our skillet going here. So you'll hear the fan of our fancy convection
Yes, induction burner.
Get that going. We are going to add a stick of butter or margarine and get that melting. And I am going to add to that to saute 1 small green pepper. Get all those green peppers in there. And there they are, my mushrooms. So 1 can of sliced mushrooms.
So as we're working on this chicken a la king, at one point in the 1950s, you would find this dish at elegant weddings, fancy in-home dinner parties, or elegant buffets. But this recipe that we're working with today is actually one that was developed by Betty Crocker to be quick and simple for home chefs.
Yes, so fancy, brought easy for the family in the 1950s. Kind of all about quick and easy recipes to get dinner on the table by 6.
Yeah. So working on sauteing those green peppers, and you used canned mushrooms.
So our mushrooms are already soft. We just want to cook the green peppers down, get them soft as well. I don't know if the 1950s were all necessarily about crunchy foods.
It's true.
I think we kind of liked things soft in the 50s. Not a lot of crunch in this dish.
So was this a particular family favorite of yours, Jamie?
This was. We had chicken a la king often for dinners. Tater tot casserole was another favorite, which I believe also comes from the 1950s or 60s.
Right.
So while I was not around, I think maybe these were my family favorites growing up. My parents ate them, and so they passed them down to us. So once we've got those all sauteed up there, we are then going to add our flour, salt, and pepper. And if you're not familiar with this process, things might get a little interesting here. You might think you're doing something wrong, but you're not, because we are actually creating.
You're making a roux, it looks like there. So we're using that fat from the butter and then the flour added to it. It cooks the flour, but it also makes it so that it will thicken whatever liquid ingredients you put in, which I think is probably the next step here, isn't it, Jamie?
It is. So it gets a little pasty on you, I'd say. Kind of a paste texture, and it's definitely looking brown. So we are going to add our hot water and our milk. And we also are adding, some of our flavor is coming from some chicken bouillon. And then with those canned mushrooms, or I had a jar of mushrooms, we can also add a little bit of that liquid. And then we want to make sure that we are stirring.
So it's the stirring process with that flour paste that's been made that allows things to thicken up with the heat.
Yes, so this is where kind of the magic or the chemistry part of cooking is going to come in. So that flour with that liquid, we will start to see this get thick and bubbly, and that's what we're looking for.
You're not adding anything like cheese in there to thicken it, are you?
No. Funny enough, growing up, if you had asked me what was in this dish, I probably would have said there was cheese, but there is not.
No cheese.
There is no cheese. There is milk, which I guess you can also use a roux to make macaroni and cheese.
It's the same process, yeah. Instead of the, it would be at this point that you start to drop the cheese in.
Yes. So now we're starting to see that bubble. And if you can kind of tell as I'm stirring, it's definitely getting thicker. We have less liquid here.
So what are we adding into that next, Jamie?
So once we get this nice and thick, we are adding in 2 cups of chicken, since it is chicken a la king. But if you don't like chicken or you want to try something else, Betty Crocker also suggests that you can use turkey. Although, who are we from stopping you from experimenting? You can probably add your favorite meat, see how it turns out, no guarantees. We are also going to add a small can of pimentos, chopped, if you didn't buy them already chopped, but I like the pre-chopped, cuts out a step that I have to do. And you can see that is thickening nicely, and it's colorful. The green, the red. If you're not a mushroom fan, you can always cut those out as well.
So what would we serve this over?
We have options there. I believe historically they served it on toast, which I think is a little strange. Would not be my preferred method. You could also serve it on rice. My family served it on egg noodles.
Oh, yeah.
So common staple in our household, made it easy. So you can see where childhood Jamie might have thought that there was cheese in here. We're getting that kind of cheese sauce consistency there. So then we're gonna go ahead and remove it from the heat, and that will be ready to put on a bed of noodles as we plate it up.
Yeah. And through the magic of television, our cheese ball has chilled, our Jell-O is set up, and we're ready to plate our dinner.
So we are gonna take some of our chicken a la king and put that onto our noodles. That pan is a little heavier than I thought it was gonna be. So we will get that on there. And you can see this makes a good amount. So a family of 4, or if you're a family of 2, you got leftovers. We'll bring this over to our meal. All right.
Oh,
so
yes.
would you like to go ahead and try our deviled ham and cheese ball?
Absolutely. So as you can see, you can serve it with radishes or with crackers. I'm going to try it on a cracker.
Those are some fancy radish roses we have there. Very nice. Fancy party dish.
Very good.
We have our chicken a la king with our egg noodles. So let's try some of that. Gotta get some of the pimiento in there. I think I did my mom proud. It was pretty tasty.
It's very good, Jamie.
And then I will go ahead and try my favorite, the pink stuff. I could probably eat the whole bowl. Oh my goodness. You might be scared to try it, but let me tell you, I don't know if there's anything better.
If you're curious about making these dishes, there is recipes down in the comments. If you're curious about other Recipe and Reads Culinary Lab program, please visit our website at volusialibrary.org.
And we'll see you next time.